If you want to talk disrespect, this music video might be it. The artist OG Man Man, real name Antonio Leach, makes threats against a rival while standing over the gravesite of the rival's friend.
I told him, please don't do it, but he did it. And when he did it, his went millions.
6 years later, his mother, Lucille Leach, vividly remembers how the conflict started.
My son didn't even rap until this person put out a song on my son.
The rival made a song calling her son a snitch, and Antonio felt he had to respond. Lucille, meanwhile, watched helplessly as the conflict spiraled out of control.
After the video came out, I want to say it was 2 weeks after they killed my son. When this person killed my son, they took a part of me away.
Unfortunately, this isn't rare.
Violent crimes that are occurring because of slights that are being traded back and forth between, rap groups or crews.
Wayne Jacobs is the special agent in charge of the FBI's D.C. field office. His office tracks D.C.'s neighborhood crew violence.
It's not necessarily about the music, but it's people using the music as a platform to talk about things that they're either doing or issues or disputes that they're having with others.
And this 2021 report by the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform backs that up. Their analysis of D.C.'s gun violence found, quote, exacerbating the social media-incited shootings are music videos, sparking a series of comments and competing videos that escalate into shootings. We found traces of the trend when digging through court evidence files. Music videos mentioned in several of D.C.'s most high-profile killings. From 10-year-old Micaiah Wilson's, 11-year-old Davon McNeil, and 6-year-old Nia Courtney. Innocent children cut down when personal beefs grew out of control. But D.C. hip-hop artist Young E-Class calls the connection between videos and violence nonsense.
These issues was going on before rap, hip-hop even started, because hip-hop might be 40 years old, 50 years old, give or say, and these street situations are going on long before that.
He is no stranger to the streets of D.C. or neighborhood conflicts. He served time in prison for a crime committed as a teenager.
Even if you just take the music away too, like, the issue's still gonna be there. That this neighborhood gonna be like that neighborhood. Like, it's gonna happen.
His point, the core issues involving violence in D.C. need to be addressed before the music videos.
You don't have a stable home, or you don't have nowhere to go. Can you imagine? Like, that's straight survival.
And that's something that Miss Leach agrees with. Between the poverty and the ongoing neighborhood conflicts, to her, Antonio wasn't caught up in violent music. He got caught in a violent cycle.
Please just stop. It's just stop, because you could be the next one, and your mom had to bury you.
Matt Gregory, WUSA 9.
I thought I wasn't gonna touch a basketball until next year. That was probably the lowest part of my life. Just sitting in the hospital bed for a month or some change. If I'm playing basketball, I'm not thinking about stuff. I just can't take life for granted.
Standing at 6'9", 220 some odd pounds.
I say doing that 3 times, that's 210 makes.
The gentle giant Corey Manicle has made his way back to the court.
Plus the shots I shoot before that, 500 shots, I say that.
But his game was nearly cut short when the boundaries he normally found himself in were smeared with his own blood.
So it was you against about 7 other people?
Yeah.
And you have no idea why they attacked you?
Yeah, I really don't know.
After celebrating a win for a basketball game in Scotia, Cyprus, Corey and his friends went out to celebrate. He was brutally attacked while leaving a club.
I was in the ICU for 11 days. I got speech therapy, I got outpatient therapy, I got physical therapy.
Are they still investigating this case? Are they communicating with you? Or?
No, I ain't heard from nobody, honestly. I never heard nothing. I only talked to her, my mom.
Cyprus police tell us they've arrested 5 men who they say will face charges in connection to his attack. And they're awaiting direction from their legal service to determine what exactly those charges will be. Unfortunately, Corey has little memory of that night. He suffered a brain injury.
I just remember fists, and then I just woke up in the hospital.
Fortunately, not alone.
In any situation, my mom gonna be there for me. When I woke up, she was like the first person I seen, and I was proud of that. Not even knowing where I was at, but she was there.
The report from the doctor said this: but God said this. So that was something that I never experienced up close and personal. So I know that there is a God, and he is still working with him and with me.
With a clear path down the center lane, he's focusing on getting his head back in the game.
I'm trying to be back to playing contact by in the next month or so.
Offensively.
When I got faith, just know that's the best thing I could have.
Defensively.
Just taking it however fast I want to take it.
All while being grateful to be able to take another shot in the game of life.
I didn't expect this to happen, the outpour of love and support. But if it was not for you, then this would not be where we are today.
What do you want to say to the hundreds of thousands, or maybe 1,000 or so people who donated to the cause to bring you home?
I want to say thank you. I'm really thankful. If not, I could have still been over there right now. So I really want to say thank you to those people, and donations and prayers and helping me get back on this side.
Reporting in Prince George's County, Megan Rivers, WUSA 9.
With the new year around the corner, a time to reflect. For those standing at the corner of shock and concern.
There's a lot of cards here.
It's a lot. It's unsettling.
This is so sad.
As 2022 comes to a close, another violent chapter comes to an end.
Rashad Davis.
Lonzo Malcolm.
Keith Allen. David Scott.
Clayton Marshall.
D.C. surpassing more than 200 homicides for 2 years in a row.
202.
202 homicides this year in D.C.
The number may be slightly down from the year before.
Even if people say it's gone down, it's still a very large number.
But it's the first time having that many back-to-back in nearly 20 years.
I'm totally sick and tired of it. I don't know why it has to happen. We're killing for what?
So I don't think it's particularly one thing that causes crime, but I think we should start with more vigilance on the streets.
As a social worker, I think there's a lot of things that the city has done, but I think more could be done to address sort of these larger systemic issues.
Tiffany Wiggins,
Antoine Brown,
Brandon Smith,
Sean Minor.
From southeast to northwest.
David Boyd, Arthur Harrison Jr.,
Justin Johnson.
Lakita Young.
I also used to teach high school, so when I read the names, I just think about the high schoolers I used to teach.
Behind every number of death, the name of someone's child.
I don't know how it feels as a mother to lose their child, but the thought of it devastates me.
Reading them out loud makes the reality of crime in our city that much more real.
It's important to say the names, but like, what else?
With the new year ahead, a reminder violence maintains a strong grip.
I don't need to hear the names to understand the effect and to know that it's a serious issue or problem.
I hope it just begins to be a new beginning.
Matthew Torres, WUSA 9.
Hey, I'm going to do the Mamacita's Bowl.
Go out to eat in Washington, D.C.
What's this about an environmental surcharge?
Which one?
It says there's a surcharge for the environment.
And you might have noticed something new on the menu.
I'm just curious what this environmental fee is. I've never heard of that.
I don't understand that either.
You don't understand it either? What's the supply increase fee? Can I ask you a quick question? What's an administrative or admin fee?
Whether it's a 4% wellness fee for a, quote, employee benefits program, or a 5% restaurant recovery charge to, quote, help cover pandemic-related costs and debts, Sarah Stella is so confused by it all, she started a spreadsheet on Reddit to keep track.
How many restaurants are you up to now?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's see. So it looks like 143.
Uniformity? Is that what you're looking for? Yeah, a little bit of a system?
Yeah, a little bit. And, say, let's just settle on 1 or 2 names.
In response to growing frustration among customers, much of it on social media, D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwalb issued this consumer alert warning D.C. restaurants are barred from charging deceptive fees and could be fined for violating D.C.'s consumer protection laws if they bury the fee in fine print. fail to disclose how much the fee is until the bill comes, use the fee for something other than what they say it's for, or use ambiguous or misleading language about how the fee will be used.
Does DC government need to regulate this?
Well, I don't want to go as far as saying we need more regulation.
Sean Townsend, president and CEO of the Restaurant Association of Metropolitan Washington, says the fees are a product of a restaurant industry still reeling from the pandemic and anticipation of tipped worker wage increases approved by DC voters, set to begin phasing in this May.
Do you see more service fees in the future, not less?
I do. I do see more service fees, service charges. It'll be labeled in a number of ways.
Townsend said the Restaurant Association is working with DC Council on language to bring uniformity to restaurant fees in the district. Until then, customers are left to figure it out on their own. In fact, when we questioned our server at Proper 21K about the administrative fee added to our bill.
Yeah, I just wanted an explanation. If you can explain it to me, it's
I
fine.
don't know the full, I just know it's a COVID recovery.
The restaurant agreed to take it off.
We can get it taken off.
Oh, you can take it off?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
We decided to put that fee back into the server's tip, although that policy varies from restaurant to restaurant. Eric Flack, WUSA 9.
The constant sounds of construction and congestion would drive anyone away. But for this DC native, he relishes in the noise permeating Anacostia.
When you're building something for somebody in the community to benefit who live there, it's a different appreciation.
From a DC council run to serving as a neighborhood commissioner, Daryl Gaston has been trying to change his community for years. However, he realized for him, government is not the answer.
I said, you know what, after 14 years, I had to give it up, right? I had to give it up not only for my mental sanity, but also because I knew in order to be a part of the solution, I had to be on the outside.
The outside looks like this, his own restaurant called Kitchen Savages along the streets where he grew up and still lives.
And why the name Kitchen Savages? One of the young people that I was helping said, you should name it Savage Kitchen because they think we're savages and they want to throw us away, but we can redirect that savage energy into the kitchen.
Can I get you guys started with anything?
Gaston cooked up the idea for this restaurant at the height of the pandemic after seeing a dramatic increase in deadly crime, the urgent need for health care, and people struggling financially in Ward 8. That's why most of the 23 people he hired are his neighbors.
They're returning citizens, they're high school dropouts, they're single dads, they're single moms.
They're also talented. Bernard Collins is head chef. He was laid off during the pandemic.
At the time, my wife was pregnant, so I was kind of getting doubtful at first, going through the motions, as any man would, getting scared, like, what am I going to do? Kind of went into panic mode. I did DoorDash, trying to just make ends meet.
Elizabeth Scruggs worked at a grocery store and was also out of work.
As the interview was over, I was walking down the street and I started crying. I was like, God, you all right.
I know the failure of this is not an option because failing means the people that I hired, I don't want to cry. Failure means the people that I hire won't have an opportunity to feed their families. They won't have an opportunity to make sure that they don't go back to jail or they pay their rent. And so this is much more than just putting food down on the table. This is about saving lives.
The main ingredient being used in this restaurant's recipe is simply care. Gaston says he's being guided by his mother's love.
Ooh, oh, wow, you want me to cry some more?
Whose picture greets everyone at the front door.
She's my motivation for living. I think anyone who lost a parent, there are days where you don't want to get up. But I don't have an option not to get up. When she was sick, dying in the hospital of COVID, she still motivated me to get up and work. She said, baby, you gotta do this. Go and get your ramekins.
This being getting his community back to the table, using his experience in city government and good food to solve their problems.
The solution is just simple, right? I mean, we can't fight each other. We have to love our way out of this situation.